Today we're going to follow one of our home team ministry leaders, Pastor Chris Pagan, into India, but actually more than that, we're going to follow his life and what God has done to put India into his heart. This is going to be an exciting episode where you're not only going to see what happens in India, but something that might happen in your own heart and own life.
I remember when I was young, I watched the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And in that particular movie, he was in India, and I thought, one day I'm going to go to that place.
What began as a simple interest developed into a lifelong passion for missions. But the road leading to destiny was a rough one, until a man who'd been ignited by passion explained the reality of Jesus Christ to a young man searching for purpose.
My name is Chris Pagan. I'm from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. I didn't really grow up Christian. We grew up kind of Christian, you could say. We went to church when I was very young. We knew all the Bible stories. I remember going to church, but as we grew up, became teenagers, the gospel wasn't really something that was a focus in my family. And I rebelled a lot in my teen years, getting into drugs and alcohol and things like that. I didn't get born again until I was about 21 or 22, and God really began to change my life and speak to my life. And when we talk about having a passion for missions, particularly this part of the world, India, Pakistan, I never believed that God would bring me to a place like this. Looking back on my life, I can see how God put that together and how the desires of my heart are being fulfilled every day in my life. I remember when I was young, I watched the movie Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And in that particular movie, he was in India, and I thought, one day I'm going to go to that place. Never thought about it. And then years later, when I became a Christian, the couple that led me to the Lord, the guy, he was from Africa. He had went to India, studied, and got born again in Africa. Married an Indian lady, and both of them migrated to Canada, and I was working in a factory in a slaughterhouse, and he preached the gospel to me. I still remember that day. We went to his house. His wife was wearing a sari in the middle of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, cooking curry. India had sort of become kind of a theme throughout my life, and as I got born again, one of my first ministries in the church was to look after a refugee family that had come through the church. They were from Afghanistan actually, but had spent the last 10 years of their lives in India. So a lot of their children were born in India. So they were kind of my real first experience of ministry in India.
Chris's salvation transformed his life. But it wasn't until he stepped out and began to serve God in whatever situations were presented that a passion was ignited in his heart for missions, and his destiny began to take shape.
As I remember living my life before Jesus, and I was working in a factory, and there's nothing wrong with working a job or you could say a normal life in Canada or whatever, but there was nothing there. There was no reason to get out of bed in the morning, like saving my money to do what? The thing that really sparked my passion, obviously for the gospel, was just to get involved in my local church, get involved in some way to, be a part of the Great Commission. And if that meant cleaning bathrooms in the church or stacking chairs, and that led into youth ministry, and that led into working with refugee families until we are doing ministry full-time now.
Chris launched out into full-time ministry the day he arrived at Victory Asia Bible College, and has served God and his ministry team faithfully for 12 years. Chris has brought the Word of God to 10 nations across Asia, and is fulfilling the vision God put in his heart as a child.
Probably it's God put those desires in you, and you have to follow, and you got to step out in faith, and you got to take those risks. I mean, it is risky to move your family across the ocean, but it's probably more risky not to, and live your life, and at the end you die and wish you would have done a lot of things.
Well, Chris's passion for India has really caught on in our ministry, and we all have such a great passion for this nation. God is doing absolutely amazing things. And so I want to encourage you to partner with what's going on in India. Contact our ministry, victoryasia.com, and our website. You can donate or partner or connect with us, talk to us, whatever you want to do through there. And then come back next week for more Great Commission action from this side of the Continuum.